In an open letter to the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio made available to newsmen, the support staff, amongst others, decried their alleged poor condition of service, calling for better review. The letter, titled Open Letter to Senator Godswill Akpabio on planned protest to end workplace slavery of support staff in the Warri Refinery Petrochemical support staff, reads in part, Your Excellency, with the support staff of Warri Refining and Petrochemical Company Limited, who were committed since 2022 to the quick fix project of the nation's Warri Refinery, have been technically provoked by NNPCL top management to go on a planned protest scheduled for Monday, 19 August. This protest is being triggered by the refusal of the NNPCL to approve the implementation or approve and implement the support staff condition of service, improved remuneration package, and the recent NNPCL. And actually, the support staff of the Warri Refinery have been in agitation for improved remuneration package, condition of service as applicable to other support staff in NNPCL since 2015. Which have periodically ended with promises from the management. And they said that they have also they've written letters, they have tried to protest by writing letters to various parastatals, they've written letters to the president, and they copied the governor of Delta State, they copied Melekari, they copied different other people that matter in that regard, but yet nothing has been done. So they finally had to write to the Senate President that he should actually do something about this. They said sometimes they bring in new staff, they would have to train these people. But when it's time to employ, they would not employ them based on grounds of not having their masters and things like that, and they had to cry out. Even their welfare, according to them, not well taken care of. Let's get your thoughts on this story, Madhu.
Okay, in the issue of this protest by the staff of Warri Refinery workers, it's a situation that has happened over time. From what I know in this particular situation, they said 2023, sorry, 2020, 2010, 2015, they have been written series of letters.
Yes.
Till now, nothing has been done. This of bringing people from outside to come and take over their positions at a particular time, they also train the people that have been brought to the company. The question you should ask that, what are the qualifications needed in such situation? Are they qualified? Do they have what it takes to man those positions? If they have, what is wrong? Because this current oil situation in Nigeria has caused a lot of problems. Sometimes the family, the landlord, they have different cartel manning these people or manning this particular company. Contracts are already shared to different people. How would they be employed when you are not having the prerequisites to be employed? I was expecting that in the protest they've written, or the letter they've written, they said that they were qualified. They were qualified, listing what and what make them to be qualified.
They already explained that in their words, they feel their qualifications should just be around them having the technical know-how. I mean, if they can train the people who will do the job, that means they can obviously do the job.
No.
But they say they keep getting disqualified due to their educational qualification, which is the masters that they mentioned that they do not have.
That's what I'm saying. They mentioned educational qualification.
Yes.
Yes, we have the technical know-how. Now, in the policy of the company, what are the requirements? The educational requirement needed for them to be employed. If they say master, do they have the master? If they don't have the master, why are they protesting? From the period they'll be protesting, if any of them has gone to school, they would have also attained the...
For those number of years.
Yes, if I attained the master. Then after that has been done, you cannot go and continue that. They gave us conditions, so period of time, we were able to meet up the condition, yet we are not being absorbed.
Okay.
That is my opinion.
All right, Ambassador, on that, let's get you.
Well, I think my brother is on point. Part of what they are complaining, trying to protest for, is part of good working
services
provisions. Maybe they are expecting that since a minimum wage have been increased, or probably because of the economic challenge that we have as a country, most of the things, their welfare also needs to be reviewed. I think this could be part of what they are looking at, aside or apart from the issue of properly absorbing them as the staffs of the company. Now, first of all, the contract they have with the Warri Refinery or NNPC has to do with support staff. You know, you must always appreciate the rules of your engagement, the contracts that you signed when you were to resume. So it's very clear that the contract was to support the staffs. That's the legitimate or the, I don't know the best word to use right now.
The staff.
The staffs. So if you agreed to be a support staff, and then you need to ask, what are the bases for you to become a staff? Look at the criteria, prepare yourself, develop yourself, and then already you are in the system. So it will become very easy for you to get, you know, into the official staffing of the company. But again, I also understand most times that the politics of companies are very, very dicey. Now, they have complained to host communities, which I'm sure the people protesting are not host communities, because probably the company is meeting up to their own contracts with the host communities. But like, we are here working as support staff, this is what we are suffering. Writing to Mr. President, writing to the Senate President, I think where I will lend my voice with them is on the issue of their welfare.
Exactly, because if we say they are not qualified for employment, what about their welfare while they are working?
So I think since part of what they are looking for, asking for, is their welfare improvement, which is critical. Even if you are a staff or not yet a staff, if your welfare is well taken care of, at least you can be surviving first until if you develop yourself to become a staff of the Warri Refinery. Glory be to God.
So when develop themselves, you know, they need money to develop themselves.
You see, the issue of a staff support in the refinery is relatively almost like a staff of the refinery. The only difference is that they are not entitled to pension. But
are they earning the same amount of salary?
The difference of their salaries may not be very much. Now, if you are a support staff, it gives you, I feel that somebody who is a support staff should have an entrepreneurship spirit, whereby you don't want to tie yourself to the normal monthly services. So if you're a support staff, it has also, you know, make you not to become a slave, the monthly slave thing that we always talk about. So I feel that as a support staff of the Warri Refinery, at least to a reasonable extent, what they are having is manageable, but it needs to be improved because of the economic situation. So I want to call on Mr. President, call on the authorities of the Warri Refineries, also plead with the Senate President that they have resorted to at the moment to see how their welfare can be reviewed, if the resources are there, because they are Nigerians. They are people that have equal opportunities like other Nigerians should have. So in as much as they are our brothers and our sisters, any good done to them is as well being done to Nigerians.
All right, let's look at the maximum functionality of and productivity of our refineries in Nigeria. one of the big issues that we have and one of the big topics for discussion in Nigeria today. In fact, during the president's broadcast, people were expecting to hear him say things about the refinery. So what do you think Nigerians right now are expecting from the president at the moment, referring to our refineries and the state of our refineries and all of that trickling down to the price of petrol? Madu.
Okay, thank you. This issue of refinery and petrol, it has lingered for decades, and till now no solution has been found. The only solution, most of us were thinking that if it happened, Nigeria will have to have a breathing air, a good breathing air, is the issue of a Dangote refinery. But we now heard what happened, and even Dangote himself cried. The rich also cried. We need to,
Nigeria, the rich also cried.
Yes, we saw it. He cried. It does not matter that he must not see his tears, but he cried. But thank God the president has, from what we learned, that he has ordered that petrol should be given to, products should be given to the refinery so that they can function optimally. Then in the other side of every day we hear turnaround maintenance. We have been turning around to maintain our refinery to today. We heard last year that a Petrochemical refinery will function from June till now. We are in what? August.
What do you think is delaying this?
It's, they will call it administrative bottleneck. Sometimes too, funds are not available.
Funds are not available, even with all of the monies that have been allocated for our refineries?
Of course, it's possible. Let me give
an example. Okay, go on.
Let me give an example of Bonny Bodo Road. I want to mention issue of funds not being available.
Okay.
Bonny Bodo Road, when it was flagged off, then President Muhammad Buhari said 4 years. How many years are we today? It has not been completed. Because after it had been flagged up, the necessary requirements were all provided. But at the time, Julius Berger and federal government are not having issues over funding. That delayed the process. That's why I said, in the issue of this refinery, sometimes funding might also be a problem.
Ambassador, do you know how much we have allocated? In fact, some Nigerians have said, all the monies we have spent on our refineries on paper, can we, like, if we had put all of them together, would have been able to put up, a new refinery?
How we should do all spent?
You know, that is the. Do you also believe that funding is the problem here?
You see, when a community have only one farmland, it will be very difficult for that farmland to know peace.
You have to break it down.
Yes, by the explanation, very many big, if I will use that word, elites in Nigeria, their interest is always on crude. And the processes of crude have different, points of economic benefits, starting from the oil exploration, the drilling, getting to the point of refining or marketing or thereabout. So the refineries are having issues because, like I said last time, the issue where most of our prominent Nigerians have invested heavily on the petroleum industry, on the crude business, where most of them have bought vessels. What is the essence of the vessels? For exportation of crude and importation of PMS. So if the refineries are working effectively, like I said always, the businesses of most of our brothers and sisters looks as if it's closed. And every day I appeal to them here that for the benefit of the common Nigerians, they have made a reasonable amount of money. They should diversify their business plan so that the common Nigerian man can breathe. Because of the cabals and the cartel that are involved in the oil politics, the oil business, it will be difficult for the refineries to work. So even if because of the political system we run, where our political leaders wants to give, privileges based on political considerations, and before they even get into power, some certain amount of contracts or discussion has been placed. So corruption is still a big issue why these refineries can't really function. So
it's not a matter of finance not being available.
It's not funding. Now, my suggestion will be, thank God Mr. President has approved the issue of renewable energy. Because if we have alternative source of energy that is working, I can tell you for free that the refineries will begin to function, because they will be looking for means of getting it cheaper here and then selling it. Because why? If I'm using solar, like I always say, if I'm using a renewable car, maybe solar car or electric car, I'm in my house, I have solar. I don't have business with crude. I don't have business with fuel, neither diesel. So even those who are holding tight that industry will understand that the business is failing. You are aware that the price of crude keeps dropping because most nations of the world are going into renewable energy. Most nations of the world have no business with
price of crude dropping, but price of fuel increasing.
That's part of the challenge now. In Nigeria, we are the cause of our problems.
How so?
Yes, we are the cause of our problems. One, we are not ready to do things rightly. We are not even ready for government to function well. When we talk about government, I always ask, is he a spirit? Government we are talking about is human being. Government is Nigerians who are running these agencies. So it's not a spirit. So when people keep telling me government say, I say, hold on. What is government?
No, you know what they mean when they say
when
the
they
government
say government says is trying to apportion blame to somebody you don't know. So government is human being. Government is not spirit. So our government and our institutions, our refineries are not working. It's because Nigerians do not want it to work. When I mean Nigerians, yes. Some Nigerians, those who have the responsibility of ensuring that it works. So we must stop this blame game of government. They give you contract to do, you steal the money, you say government. They give you refinery to fix. Money have been approved for you to fix those refinery. You have failed to fix it. Tomorrow you come back, government. Because why? You feel that that's your own conduit pipe.
The annoying part of it is that after we are given a date for the refinery to be functional, we're usually not told that, oh, this is what happened. This is why we could not meet the deadline that we gave you. Do you know how many years we have been given deadline by Melecari?
That's what we are saying now. That because it's just like the East-West Road and some other projects in this country, every year they appear in budgets. It looks as if those who run these systems are mediocres, that they can't think further.
If I remember correctly, Ambassador Ekiedo, I remember once we had this conversation when Melecari gave us a new date for the refineries to be functional this year. I think he said August or so, but then he later said before the end of the year, right? Before December, yes, we're going to have them functional. I think you said, because this is a new administration, let us see if he's saying if it's going to be a different ball game this time. Yeah, and then I reminded you that it's the same Melecari who has been giving us these promises all the while. And you said yes, but it's not the same administration. Because it's a different administration, the story might be different this time.
Of course.
Okay, so you still hold that belief?
I believe that if Mr. President and this new administrations wants to fix the refinery to get it work, it is possible.
You think the previous administrations didn't want to fix the refinery?
That's why we are Australian. You know, when a man comes and gives promises, You don't kill a man based on someone's failed promises.
All right.
So that's why I said that this is a new administration. Let us believe that the new administration will do something different.
So you think all the cabals will be taken off, the cabals that you mentioned? I'll come back to you. Hold that thought. Let me get Madu's thoughts on this one. Do you see a different ball game this time?
Yeah, I have checked many things.
Okay.
Before they said there was no political way. This of subsidy removal, corruption, this and that. We must have someone who has political way to handle it. Now, the president of the Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bolaji Tinubu, on the day of his inauguration, he exhibited and demonstrated that political way by removing a subsidy. Today, now what are we doing? We are protesting against it. Before, we are clamoring for who has the political will.
To do what?
First of all, to handle Nigerian problem.
One of it
is subsidy, yes. We have been saying about that there is no president, either any campaign that they will not mention removal of subsidy.
But have you seen the effect of the removal of the subsidy?
What I'm trying to explain to you is that Nigeria, we said we don't have somebody who has political will to implement certain policies. Now we have it. We are protesting against it. Jonathan raised up of subsidy removal. People protest against it, including the current president. Today he has also done same. People are protesting against it. So there is no policy that government will take or government want to implement that people will not find it difficult at the earlier stage of the implementation.
This is 1 year. This is not earlier anymore.
No, it's earlier.
Is this still the earlier stage of implementation?
Why is earlier? If they tell you the level of the cage, the level of cage involved, the cage, I mean that the people that are caging the process, which my brother mentioned as Kaba, you also said Kaba. The level of Kaba.
I was quoting him.
Yeah, okay. Now, the Kaba is not a Kaba that you just wake up and dismantle. Don't forget that even this issue of crude oil and subsidy, they were saying, and I also read that about $60,000, I mean, sorry, $60 million, something like that.
Okay, yes, it's one of the stories we're taking.
The money spent monthly
on fuel importation.
And then who are benefiting? They mentioned other countries that benefited from Nigerian subsidy. The money Nigerians spent, so that's supposed to be meant for Nigerian citizens, and now being spent for Nigeria and about 3 different countries. So if those subsidy removal will not be removed completely, then we're going to be funding Nigeria and funding other countries.
Before we even get to that story, let's not forget that what Nigerians are saying is, before the subsidy would have been removed, measures would have been put in place. In fact, yesterday we heard reports that Obasanjo still made the same statement.
No, why I'm no longer agreeing with them now is that before Jonathan did that, he had put measures on ground. Of course, he was giving dates. Before, just go back and find that Jonathan, a lot of economic reform, they gave date of for so time we're going to remove subsidy. So time we're going to remove subsidy. Then issue of Buhari, the same thing. He attempted, he gave date and he attempted. People also protested. Don't do it, though. If you do it now, it will be like this. That's why the issue of turnaround maintenance happened.
All right.
So in course of turning around and maintaining the turning around, we are still in the same process. So instead of Tinubu giving other processes again, let it start as he has started.
All right, this conversation would definitely continue.